but get paid well.
easy.
Go figure. City job, and they hate their jobs. Go figure. But let's get a little state of the union here of the league. How's the league? How's the league looking as a whole? Future wise, like you said that something about the All-Star game. We won't go into that. But just the softball league itself, like, you seeing long-term stability with the league? Do you see anything expansion wise, or are you just going to stay with Staten Island, or because we know you got the Jersey leagues,
Well, in Jersey, I only have a men's league, but I've been trying to spread out with the co-ed, because co-ed's getting real big out of Staten Island, out of New York.
Mm-hmm.
Let's first talk about Staten Island. Staten Island League, it seems like it's getting harder and harder to get co-ed teams, and there's other leagues starting, and some teams are trying to start on a Saturday co-ed.
Right.
But right now, I feel, I don't know, this year, all the leagues are down in teams and things like that. It's just, things have changed. I guess it's all because of the weather. The weather it hasn't really broke yet, other than today.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going strong. My men's fine, and the color, I usually have good amount of teams in the spring, and I hope same amount of teams come back in the fall. I have different teams playing in the spring, and I have different teams that play in the fall. So we're strong. As long as I'm strong, the league gets strong.
Okay.
So, well, again, everybody is willing to go out and look for fields. That's what the biggest thing is, looking at fields outside of Staten Island. I have the insurance. I can do it. We can do it together. That's not a problem. So that's where the league is at. We're strong. We're not fading away. We're staying here. We're not going anyplace.
Well, that's always good.
We're in
always
good
a good
shape
thing
right
to hear.
now.
I mean, that's always good to hear, because it's like, when you're a head coach of a softball team, you're investing your summer. And any of the coaches who've been doing this for a couple of years know you're giving up your entire summer pretty much for softball. And it's not just playing purposes. You're the coach. You're the one that has to track down everybody, collect the money, schedule practices, take care of the league issues with money, rules, meetings. You have to go get the equipment. You got to order the softball jerseys. You got to go pick them up, get people to sign the roster. You have to contact people weekly to make sure you have a team to field. And then you get to the field, and you got that helpless feeling at the field, waiting for your players to show up and hoping you don't have to make any phone calls and wake anybody up to come play. I mean, it's not, you're giving up your entire summer for softball, and I think more and more people are starting to understand that as they spread out and start their own teams, that it's not as easy as you think. It's not as easy as just showing up, putting a lineup together, and say, let's play ball. There's so much more behind the scenes that happens before you even step foot on a piece of grass. And I respect any manager or head coach of a team that gives up their summer to do this. And I've been doing this for 22 years, so I haven't gone on vacation in the heart of the summer in 22 years. My vacations usually happen in the winter, or like next week I'm going away on a cruise, but I'm leaving on a Sunday and I'm coming back on a Friday. So I'm not missing any softball.
Well, Kevin, that's just the spring. I go spring into fall into spring. I got maybe 1 month off. It's not easy, but I enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it as a manager or a coach, you wouldn't be doing it.
Yep, and you wouldn't be doing. Yeah, I mean it's an adjustment period too, because not only did we as managers and teams, you have to go through adjustments of changing leagues, which we did back in the fall of 2007 and then in the spring of 2008. We had to, you go into a new league, is an adjustment process, new rules and things like that. But you have to adjust every year to new players, a new generation of players, different generation. They're not, some of them aren't the 100 mile an hour forward, gun ho, all play, want to win type players. Some of them are more laid back. Some of them really don't take it that seriously. Some of them are just there to have fun, but really don't know how to play the game. So there's a whole bunch of things as a manager and a coach that you just have to adjust to. And I feel now this is the hardest point that any manager, I think, has had to try to field a team, to get a full roster, field a team, and even get new teams, as you said, because this generation that's up and coming, the kids that are now 18 to 26, this is the video game generation. There's no more going outside and playing baseball, and playing football in the street, and playing tag. This is video games. So you're pretty much losing out the next generation because they don't play ball anymore. So
it's true. It's true. And a lot of teams this year, come January, February, even last month, March, they weren't interested in softball or anything like that. The weather is what hurt everybody this year, and it's still hurting people, hurting leagues.
Yeah, they gotta get over it.
I mean,
you gotta get over it.
When I send out my first notice about the league come January after the first of the year, are you kidding me? There's snow out on the ground. They're not thinking about it, and that's what's hurting a lot of sports. It's the weather.
People need to get over it and look past that and say, yeah, okay, my email's coming in. All right, we're going to start organizing for softball. I look out my window. There's 16 inches of snow on the ground, but there's not going to be 16 inches of snow on the ground during softball season. So, like,
hope.
Well, at least we hope not. So, maybe it's just because I've been doing this forever, and I consider myself in the old school now. Maybe the newer managers are like, oh, are you kidding me? We're going to start now, and you have to. As a manager, you're going to find out. You have to start. The earlier you start, the better you will be once the season starts. Just less stress, less headache. You're more organized, and anybody who's like, flipping out on you in email saying, you're like, are you kidding me? The snow on the ground? I mean, it's a normal reaction, yeah, because we're all tired of the damn snow. But at the same time, we know we're not playing softball in February. We know that we're playing softball in April.
But as an old manager, you know that you got to start early. But a new manager don't realize that I have to see what I have in the league by at least beginning of March or middle of March, which I've done every single season. But they don't realize it. But some of the new managers that I spoke to, they realize it now after sitting down and speaking to them that you got to start early.
And you know what? And it worked. It's kind of like the devil's advocate. This year you had to deal with the snow, and everybody's kind of negative about that. But at the same time, there's been past winters where it's we got to February and it's 40 degrees, not that cold, still and people are just chomping at the bit to play softball, and they're contacting you wanting to when's the earliest we can play scrimmage games. It works both ways. So people got to understand that just because the weather was miserable doesn't change the calendar. It's April still shows up every year at the same time.
Well, if you remember, Kev, when you first started with me, we used to have exhibition games come March 1st.
We did, and it was cold. It was hard top. It was cold, but we did it because we wanted the season to start like as soon as possible. But
yes.
It happens, This year we had the snow. We couldn't do that. Trust me, my first practice that we scheduled was March 7th, and we had to push that back to the 14th, and we wound up going indoors because I was like, you know what? Everybody bring a shovel. If we get 15, 16 people to show up with a shovel to hardtop, within a half hour we can have a field. And everybody was like, "Are you nuts?" I'm like, "No, but do you want to play softball? Or do you want to go take a couple of swings at the batting cage that you get 18 pitches and 5 of them hit you and 4 of them are strikes and 2 of them are over your head?" I mean, so what do you want to do? Do you want to have a practice? Or you want to go to a batting cage? I particularly like practice, but again, I'm old. So I'm old. Not as old as you, but I'm old.
Thank you. Age doesn't mean anything, Ted. Age doesn't mean anything. If you can still do what you like, do it.
Yep. You can still get out of bed. So that's all I care about.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. And like I said, nothing to worry about alumni softball. We are still in full gear.
Okay.
So we're fine. The teams might be down in the spring or the fall. Hey, I don't want to be a gigantic league with so many teams. If I can get them, I'll use them. I'll do it. I'll do a schedule. I have no problems. But lately, in the last couple of years, we've had very little problems, or if any, and we straightened out a lot of problems. We're taking care of things. And you know what? Like you said, we're like one big family now, which that's how a league should be, and I hope it stays that way.
Yeah, I mean I remember it, pre alumni back in the days of the league that shall not be named. We kind of had that same thing. We always had the 10. I mean, we had big leagues back then. I remember my first year in '95, we had like 20. We had like 20 teams. And
20 teams on Saturday and like 8 teams on Sunday.
I mean, it was ridiculous because we'd go through this whole season and it would be like 4 teams that we never even played. And but the same core of 8 to 10 teams were the same core that have basically
moved over to me
all the way 20 years later, are still playing at some capacity, whether it's all over the league on different teams or some of the teams are still together. So that, that's what we're talking about. The core, that's what keeps the leagues together. Every year you're going to sprinkle in some newbies here and there and things like that, but the core keeps everybody together. And we all got older, we all matured, and we all calmed down, and it's not the end of the world anymore. It's not softball end all of life. I haven't gotten thrown out of a game in quite a while, and me and Vicky haven't gotten to a fight in a while. I even have a DeSanti on my team. Woof.
There you go. That's a picture to be seen.
Whatever we haven't seen. Who saw that coming?
Nobody. Because don't forget, Kev, I know you when I umpired in that other league.
Yep.
And you played in almost every game. One of the umpires had to eject you.
Yeah, they'd tell me to relax, calm down. I'm gonna have a heart attack, some kind of comment.
Yeah. See, but the thing is, like I said, we all grow up, learn by your mistakes, and you know what? You're out there for 3 hours to have fun. Why would you want to ruin it for anybody else and yourself? I mean, there's people out there who ruin it for others. They pay the consequences.
Yeah.
Okay, and I won't stand for that. And I've taken care of problems. And like I said, the last 4 out of the 7 years, we've been really, really having no drama at all.
Yep, absolutely. I
said,
agree with that.
I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm down at most games. I see what's going on. I know what's going on if I'm not there. And that's why the league is so a success. And I just don't have a lot of teams like we used to have years ago. But, people have other commitments, especially now kids of Little League and change their jobs.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, Kev, we're strong. We're still here with no problems. Just go on with the league. Like I said, the only thing is, we might not play this weekend. That's all I have to sit and wait until at least Wednesday to see what's going on.
Yep. Again, not in your control. That would be Mother Nature at her worst right now.
Her best.
Yeah, she's gonna torture us for Monday and Tuesday with beautiful weather, and then laugh at us for the rest of the week. So, but it is softball season, folks. This is how it works. It's always, and it doesn't matter what week of the summer or the spring it is. There is always a chance of rain on Friday. Doesn't matter. That's the weather forecast until October. Chance of rain on a Friday. Period.
Rains in October too, bad.
Yeah. Well, October. I don't play fall ball, so that's your problem.
Yeah, thank you. Now, I want to do one request. if you guys can, if you have an 8:30 game and you know that it might have rained